Hey everybody, I'm JimClassic, and you are watching Geekin. For today's video, I'm actually going to take a break from doing toy reviews to discuss something, well, I guess a bit topical, sort of. And it might even qualify as a bit controversial. At least topical and controversial within like the geek culture. I'm pretty sure the rest of the world probably doesn't care. In 2017, DreamWorks announced that it was rebooting She-Ra, the Princess of Power, the twin sister of He-Man himself, in a new original cartoon series, and it will be airing on Netflix. Or wait, streaming. It'll be streaming on Netflix. I'm sorry, nobody actually airs anything anymore. But yeah. So this new original She-Ra cartoon is meant to be just kind of, I guess, a reboot, and it's not actually supposed to feature He-Man. He's actually not supposed to be involved in this. And it's just okay, fine, cool. However, very little was talked about it up until about I guess mid June, when they released a little bit of a teaser poster. I think it's She-Ra behind a starry field at night, covered mostly in shadow, holding up her power sword, and it just kind of gave you an inkling as to what the art style might be. And it did look a little bit more kid friendly than, let's say, the Filmation version of She-Ra back in the 80s. Or even, I don't even remember the name of the animation studio that did the 2002 reboot. But it definitely looked more kid friendly, maybe low res style animation, which is fine, I guess. However, now in mid July, wow, people are definitely talking about it now. There has definitely been some hubbub going around online and on Twitter, and it wasn't until a few days ago that the creator of the new She-Ra posted a an upfront standing pose of She-Ra. Well, that's where people got to discussing. Let's start with the elephant in the room. The new She-Ra looks like a boy. She does. She has an androgynous look to her, and at first glance, you're uncertain whether or not she's a young girl or a young boy. Now, we don't know the age of the new She-Ra as of yet. And as far as we know, I mean, she could be a prepubescent girl. Um, or then again, she just, not every woman develops the same way. So, yeah, you know, she doesn't fall under your typical feminine beauty, I guess. And, but then again, some women are also a little bit more butch. But the thing is, after all, the power of Grayskull is kind of coursing through She-Ra's veins, and really all of that physical super strength would probably require a beefed up upper body anyway. And I will further add that the androgynous boy look of She-Ra is kind of further compounded by the weird shorts that she's wearing. Like, I get that she's wearing a skirt, but then underneath of it, we kind of get like these weird cut off jogging shorts, and it's just kind of a weird juxtaposition for me. I mean, I get it, some women wear shorts under their skirt, but just, I don't know, there's something weird about those. I mean, I could maybe understand it is if she was wearing like a tunic with the belt, and the tunic went below the waist a bit, or maybe she had like maybe armored leggings or something, or maybe something like Xena, like with the leather studded armored skirt. I don't know, just something that it's just not good character design, in my opinion. Okay? It just kind of throws you off a little bit. At least it throws me off. The new She-Ra is, I guess, supposed to be more of a low-res animated series. Like Adventure Time or Steven Universe, Samurai Jack even. Or even going way back to Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls. They're almost always going to look off-model when it comes to that kind of aesthetic. And it's just a natural part of the style. So I'm betting that there are going to be some episodes or even some scenes where She-Ra is going to look more boyish, and other times she is going to look more feminine. I think it all depends on the mood of the episode or the artist, what they're doing, or, it's just, that is the nature of these low-res series. You're gonna take a lot more liberties with the character model than you would in more stricter animation. As I said, in this new She-Ra reboot, at least for now anyway, they're not going to have any mention of He-Man. Now, I've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship when it comes to reboots. I tend to be harder on live-action reboots than I do animated ones. At the very least, just by looking at She-Ra, I see enough of those elements that I recognize her at first glance. She-Ra's alter ego Adora is also easy enough to recognize, though I will have to say she does look more feminine than She-Ra herself. And also that red blazer that she's wearing definitely kind of gives her more of an equestrian look. I mean, really, I think all she is missing is like those black helmets and like a riding crop, and like she just looks like she's about to go to a horse show. But either way, Adora does look different from She-Ra, where Adora does look a little more girly. She-Ra looks a little bit more manly. And I'm not really bothered by any of this. I'm really not. I don't really care. Catra also looks recognizable enough, and even though he has changed races a bit, I know Bo when I see him. And anyone else pictured here, I'm kind of drawing a blank. I'm not really up on my She-Ra, or at least not all of the secondary and tertiary characters. I'm just not. I am curious, however, how Hordak will look. And I am wondering if He-Man will eventually be introduced later on down the road. Like I said, this reboot does alter She-Ra's story. In the original Secret of the Sword, I guess, movie, Adora obtained the Power Sword through He-Man. He traveled from Eternia to Etheria. He tracked down Adora. Adora was under the spell of Hordak. He broke the spell, gave her the sword, or something like that. I don't quite remember all of it right now. But in this version, Adora is explained as an orphan girl who finds a magical sword, and she starts a great rebellion against forces of evil. Not too dissimilar from the original. It just, they removed all the elements that involved He-Man. Okay, like I said, I'm more forgiving when it comes to an animated reboot. So I'm curious. I'm curious. I want to see how this plays out. I want to see if it's good. I want to see if it's bad. I coming off of a lot of Twitter drama, tensions still seem to be pretty high right now on Twitter, between the Star Wars fan rebellion that's going on, Comicsgate. She-Ra at the moment still seems to be on the lower end of the spectrum, for now at least, when it comes to all this drama. Yes, I am seeing a lot of snarky jokes about her boyish looks, but I'm also seeing a lot of positive support for her as well, and I'm not seeing a lot of anger and hate going on in between. At least not yet. Who knows? This is Twitter. It's a cesspool of carnage and mayhem. Let's not kid ourselves here. But right now, I would say this is still mostly positive, with the exception of the snarky jokes. I respect a few good snarky jokes, but I also support the positivity that's being shown for it. Come November 16th, we're gonna see what this new She-Ra has to offer, and I think all of us who are both supportive of the new She-Ra and those who are opposed to it, or at least highly critical of what they're seeing so far, I think we can all take a good long look at ourselves and say, well, it could be worse. It could be Thundercats Roar, and I think a lot of us are pretty much against that. I sure as hell am not looking forward to Thundercats Roar. That is just no, no, no. Anyway, this has been part 1 of my discussion. I'm hoping to get part 2 released shortly. Talking about along the lines of She-Ra, continuing on with me growing up in the 80s with girl power and stuff like that. That's going to be my next video. Other than that, I think I'm pretty much wrapped up here. I've said what I wanted to say about She-Ra. I do support the cartoon show. I am looking forward to the cartoon show, but I'm still going to be making my jokes about her looking like Dean Venture in drag, because she does look like Dean Venture in drag. And that's okay, because I could see Dean doing that. For those of you who watch the Venture Brothers, I think we can all agree Dean would do that. Anyway, I'm JimClassic, and you've been watching Geekin' It.